This is the only sign at Grand Canyon that refers to River Trail. Bright Angel Trail terminates here at Pipe Creek Beach. And until 1936, that was the end of the trail. If you wanted to go to Phantom Ranch, you had to loop over on Tonto Trail to either Rust's Trail, which later became South Kaibab Trail, and into Phantom. This was originally called the Colorado River Trail. It was built between 1933 and 1936 by Company 819 of the Civilian Conservation Corps. We've already talked a little bit about them in the Heart-Shaped Rock video. Probably the best story about the Colorado River Trail, now called the River Trail, is how it got its name. The CCC leader of the Corps who was building this trail said that we're going to name it after the first person who dies. And until somebody dies, we're calling it Colorado River Trail. Although it was reportedly the hardest trail to build here at Grand Canyon, no one died as the trail was being built, and it has the name Colorado River Trail. I've already done a video about hiking rim to river on Bright Angel Trail, so I'm just picking up right here at the River Trail, doing a loop over to Kaibab, through the Phantom Ranch area and back up. So we'll cover the 2 miles of the Colorado River Trail, the most difficult trail to have been built here in the Grand Canyon. One might imagine, because it's called the River Trail, it's a gentle trail next to a river, smooth and easy, and that's the furthest thing from the truth. They raise the trail above the high level floodlines here, and it goes up and down over rocky terrain until it meets the Kaibab Trail. We'll also get to see both Silver Bridge and Black Bridge, cross them both and talk a bit about them at that point in time. So come on, let's go check this trail out. The TransCanyon water line was installed in 1965-66. The North Rim part washed out, and it wasn't complete and put in operation until 1970. At some point, the line was rerouted around, comes up Plateau Point before heading to Indian Garden. You can see the river trail is not a gentle meandering trail next to the river, but cut into the hard granite and schist at this depth in the canyon. Let's take a look at the river. The river is running at a moderate clip, turning to a green color that it has when it's not running as fully. Looking up the river, you can see the various buttes and Zoroaster Temple dominating the skyline. Partly cloudy today, which will hopefully keep the heat down a little bit. Looking up the trail, you can see how it goes up and up and up. At Grand Canyon, you yield to uphill hikers. On River Trail, it's ambiguous as to who's going uphill, but I always assume the ones that are heading to the rim are the uphill hikers and yield. Beautiful view of the river. If I were to choose one term to describe the river trail, it would be hot. When the sun hits you, the temps go up very quickly. Last year I was returning from a rim-to-rim trip. I was making record time, came around, hit the full sun on the river trail. Temperatures went over 100, that's 40 degrees C, and my times dropped precipitously. Do expect heat when you hit this trail. The first landmark for me coming from Bright Angel Trail is what I call the burning bush. The sun hits it, it looks like it's on fire, and when you reach that bush, you're halfway across the trail to Silver Bridge and you get a view of Silver Bridge. Good morning. Morning. Here. River Trail was completed January 20th, 1936, and believe it or not, the first commercial traffic was a load of pack mules. Things never change. When you reach the burning bush, you get a nice view of Silver Bridge. It's in shadow now, so it won't show up very well on the video, but there it is. We'll be there soon. Makes the trail go much faster when you see that goal. You wouldn't expect to find a sand dune on the trail, but here it is on River Trail. Makes trail gaiters a very useful accessory to keep that dirt out of your shoes. Sometimes I see people wearing low-cut shoes with no socks or low-cut socks. I wonder how much sand they're getting in those shoes. Let's keep going. I've always said good shoes are essential on your hike. You don't want them failing you. At this point, you get a good view of both Silver Bridge and Black Bridge in the distance. We'll go across both of those today. Coming up, the next landmark, Black Rock City. There's a special song for that. I saw Jefferson's Starship in an arena concert. They certainly faded in the end, from White Rabbit to We Built This City. But when I get here, I have to sing Black Rock City, Black Rock City and rock and roll. The next landmark is the Pink Cube, precariously balanced. Probably not a good place to sit for your lunch break. The cube is not a trivial size boulder, and it sure looks precarious to me. I think I'm gonna move on. Silver Bridge wasn't built until 1965. Company 819 of the Civilian Conservation Corps had its headquarters where Bright Angel Campground is now. To cross the river, they took a cable car in this similar area to where Silver Bridge is located. The cable car was originally built to collect firewood, which when the river ran free would accumulate on this jetty here. They later switched to coal to heat the buildings down there. And for 3 years, that cable car carried the crewmen who were working on building the Colorado River Trail. Silver Bridge was built specifically to carry the TransCanyon Pipeline. You can see the water line running underneath, coming out here. It has open panels, I assume, to allow repair of the pipeline. The mules cannot cross it. They come across River Trail, which links up with Kaibab Trail, which is where we're going now. One of the least traveled parts of River Trail, and probably one of the least traveled trails at Grand Canyon. We're heading for South Kaibab Trail on what's at this point the unlabeled River Trail. There's only one sign that says River Trail, and we're gonna head for it and check it out right now. The narrow bridge and open grading are not conducive to mule travel. They only travel across on Black Bridge. This rock outcropping appears in several of the 1930s pictures of the CCC building this trail. There's a lovely view down below of Bright Angel Creek flowing into the Colorado River. Thankfully, the trail is in the shade on this, the day of the fall equinox, keeping temperatures cooler. In full sun, this would be quite warm. It's amazing to think of the young men who worked on these dangerous ledges building this trail, and amazing to think that none were killed, although some were injured. It's quite a technological feat to have built this. From here, you can see the tail end of Bright Angel Campground, which is where CCC camp for Company 819 was located. You pop around a corner, clearly see Black Bridge, and South Kaibab Trail intersects, and that is the end of the 2-mile-long river trail. It took 2 years for the CCC boys to complete it, hewn out of solid rock. An amazing feat. Let's take a look at that sign. This is the only sign at Grand Canyon that refers to River Trail. Up until 1922, there were no bridges across the Colorado River. A gentleman named Rust, who ran the tourist camp on the other side of the river, built the cable car that you could ride. When the national park was originated in 1919, the US government thought that was unacceptable and built a swinging suspension bridge. It was described as being the pendulum in a bell and rumored to have, in high winds, completely flipped over. Black Bridge was completed in 1928. All of the cables and pieces were carried down by men or mules. It was built directly over the old swinging bridge, and in old photos you can see them both in the same place. It still serves to this day without major modification, and it's used by the mules all the time. They say it was built so that a mule could not chicken out and turn around on the bridge, but was forced to go forward. Let's cross it and see what we can find. South Kaibab Trail is more crowded and less friendly than Bright Angel Trail, and the step downs can be huge. Not the thing that my aging knees like. I much prefer Bright Angel Trail. Right before we hit Black Bridge, there's the notorious Dragon's Lair, and then you pop right out onto the bridge. Let's go across. Originally built with a cement base, it's been replaced by wood, gentler on the hooves of the mules. The US Geological Service has built a cable across that's still used to test water levels and water quality. Rare to be alone on the bridge. This wood was just replaced a few years ago. You can see how severely the mules have worn it. Those metal shoes take their toll. For me, this is a confidence building hike, getting ready for a rim to rim to rim in a couple of weeks. The distance of this hike is 21 miles, exactly the same distance of South Kaibab to North Kaibab, rim to rim. Of course, I'll take Bright Angel, which adds an additional 2 miles to that hike. But if I can do the 21 today, I feel confident I can do the 23 in 2 weeks. I would kind of call this hike a lollipop hike because I go river trail to Kaibab, Kaibab through Bright Angel Campground, back river trail, and back up Bright Angel. But it's actually such a narrow, I would actually call it more of a needle hike. So we'll call this a 21-mile needle hike. Thankfully, there's beautiful cloudy skies. Temperatures are great. If we look up the river, here comes another raft down. Another interesting way to see Grand Canyon. Built in 1928, nearing 100 years old and never structurally modified, this Black Bridge is an amazing piece of American engineering. This is one of the secret sites at Grand Canyon. I don't know how many times I've walked by this and never noticed it was here. This is the grave of Reese Griffith. It's the only official grave within the canyon. I suppose technically we're on North Kaibab Trail now, so this hike is a tale of 4 trails. Bright Angel, River Trail, South Kaibab Trail, and North Kaibab Trail. Quite a bit of variety. The small bridge here was built in 1966 to carry the TransCanyon waterline over the Silver Bridge and up to the village on the south rim. Here we are on the 1966 bridge, built to carry the waterline underneath, with a lovely view of Bright Angel Creek. Certainly flows more strongly than Garden Creek. Right above is Bright Angel Campground, where the CCC camp was originally located. What this spur trail is called from North Kaibab going to Silver Bridge, where it joins River Trail, I just don't know. I haven't seen its name on any map, but we're about to cross Silver Bridge now and complete our circuit on the River Trail. We'll end it at River Rest House, built by the Civilian Conservation Corps, and that will be the end of this video. Let's go. These removable panels pop up when you walk across. Sometimes they're up more than others, so watch your step as you go across. When you're staring at the river, you might trip and fall. Looking down through these perforated panels, you can see the water pipe going across and clearly see the purpose in building Silver bridge. It's great for recreation, but it supplies water to the south rim of Grand Canyon. And we're back on the river trail. These used drill bits were then converted to shore up the walls and so forth. And this very heavy rebar is also typical of the work done by the Civilian Conservation Corps. More recent work uses a much lighter rebar. This is the work of Company 819 of the CCC. River Rest House is the final stop on our tour of the Colorado River Trail. Built by the Civilian Conservation Corps, it burned down once and was reconstructed. It's a nice place to have lunch. Let's take a look. River Rest House at one point had a water fountain, hand-carved stone, as well as a fireplace. After it burned, though, I don't blame them for closing it off. And with that, we'll end this tour of the Colorado River Trail, and thank you for watching.